Wow.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Wow, we get you.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So while everyone else is kind of coming on, I heard I heard a little bit of news about you from your other
Oh,
half that your Facebooking is magic.
yeah.
Yeah. And how do you feel
Well,
about
I tried. Well, that's good to hear him say that because it was about a month ago we were talking about, he goes, I just don't, Evansville's doing really good. And Hoffman, I don't know, it just really slowed up. And I went online and I said, you haven't kept up with your posting like you used to. And he
yeah.
goes, oh,
Oh yeah, there's this thing called social media, right? Right.
yep.
Well, now you know, right, that they're really that there's today's topic. That's why I sent you a note, because today's topic will be really good for you. So
Okay.
just on media posting, and it really speaks to the type of posting that you're going to do. So and you'll like the other people in the group. So welcome. Donna McCurdy, are you home?
Say it again.
Are you at home?
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel great?
Yeah, I like to work in the office more than working at home, but on NW2 mornings, there's this slight little overlap. So it's easier to be at home, but then you throw snow on top of that and I'm at home.
I'm at home. Right.
Yeah.
Right here.
But then I teach water aerobics downtown at 5:30. So that's why it makes more sense to work downtown on Wednesdays. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
It's an easy drive.
Any chance that your partner would just drop you at water aerobics and come back and pick you up?
If I had car problems, yes.
Yes.
But otherwise,
regular,
no. Yeah.
No, he's not in taxi service.
Right. That's not his thing. I'd prefer it if he'd come to water aerobics.
Oh my God. Is it? I never even considered that. Is it mixed gender?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, I work at two different gyms. So Wednesdays is downtown YWCA. And then I work Monday mornings at Fridley Lifetime Fridley. And I get the men at Lifetime Fridley. They love my class. I call it Mechanics Monday. I'm all about, we're doing this to work this, like I'm giving them the reason. And other classes are all about choreography and just move. And it's just like, well, if you don't know what you're doing in the water, then it's not going to be as meaningful. So yes, bring them in.
Two totally different conversations. And which do you enjoy? I mean, that's a tough call, right? Because that's two sides of your brain.
Oh, the water aerobics or the
No, yeah, the Mechanic Mondays or this beautiful, swishy other.
Like beautiful swishy is just go swimming, but if you come to class, work it and know what you're working. And yeah, it's such an opportunity. Yes.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. All right, Sandy Cleland, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Good. I get to see you twice in like a week.
I know. It's so exciting. I really liked that How class.
Oh, you did good. And
yeah,
what was your takeaway from the How journal?
I just like the questions, and so what I did, I know that I wanted to do it. So that night when I went to bed, I wrote down one of the questions, and instead of writing answers, I just kept asking questions.
Yeah.
And that was really, and is that kind of the idea?
Query the question, right?
Okay. So I just kept, pardon?
And what did you get out of that?
Well, it just helps. I think it helps with clarity on what you need to do, better than just answering the question. Just keep asking more questions it's just it just felt like a different method to get to it. And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and you are
Yeah.
a complex mind. So, you think on many different levels at one time. So I bet you do have to query to get down to what's the thing, right? The thing
Right.
under the thing, under the thing.
right. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. I didn't quite know anyway, I didn't quite know what the class was going to be, but I really got it. I think I got it.
You got it. You totally got it. You totally got it. But that, you said Donna McCurdy's magic word. So
Clarity.
Clarity. Oh,
What? What are we talking about?
right. That's why I'm like, as soon as I heard that, I thought, oh, Donna's gonna need to know that. It
I've
was a
taken
journal
notes.
class that was on Sunday
Okay.
that we did. And it is it's a new technique that I've been working on for a couple of years, threw it out there. And this was the group that really got that first piece to go, oh, okay, all right, let me see how this
Mhm.
works.
yeah.
And that how journal is, it's a different, very expansive way to think. It's a whole new mix on that. Okay, I only have two more of you to jump in from ticket sales. Janet Mills, good morning. Marge Weir, since you're here, I'll let you start with introductions. We have a great class today. Marge, give us your update. How have you been? My goodness.
I'm fried because I got my mother moved into assisted living yesterday. It's really nice. We were both up at 5 a.m. Well, she's like trying to figure out her bed is slipping. I'm like, oh God, I'm supposed to not worry about this anymore. And now her
Right.
mattress, I got her a hospital bed and the mattress is slipping. So anyway, this has been my life since New Year's Day. She was in the emergency room and this has been this ongoing since. And yesterday, her birthday was Monday. She turned 86 and yesterday she moved in it's over in West St. Paul. It's really, really, really a nice place. And so here's my thing. I hope it all works out because it's Dakota County and I did all the paperwork for Ramsey County. I didn't know this is by county, but I was told years ago, I used to do all this work for guardians and conservators. And
Right.
in Minnesota, once you're in a place, when you run out of money, they can't kick you out if you do this elderly waiver. So she's
Yeah,
in
the
this
elderly waiver.
very nice place. It's just beautiful. 6 years old. It looks like a brand new building, little apartment, thank God it's a hospital bed because her bedroom's tiny. But anyway, that was my one learning from him. And she's going to be there 2 months if things don't work out. But otherwise she'll be, because it's
Not
very
every
expensive.
not every home has that deal.
It's an
but they'll-
elderly waiver. They accept elderly waivers.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as they, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them
but
will
I
say
did
right
all
up
this
front, we
paperwork
don't
and
have
then-
that here.
Oh, she said, well, this is Dakota County, so you have to do the Dakota County paperwork. I'm like, oh my God.
And yeah, I did not know that about West St. Paul. And Donna, that's a good tip. You've heard that before. You went through this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you went through
Yeah.
this too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they made you disclose what's their bank account.
She
How
has
much,
nothing. She's got
Right.
nothing. It's
So
okay.
you're in the
She's
right
been
place.
She's been saving money for a while. So just real quick, my boyfriend, she's only been paying $300 rent for the last 2 years, and her HOA is $350. And Kurt just covers it. And he's like, found out now when we had to do this paperwork, found out she's getting $1,700 a month for Social Security. And he's like, when you can't backtrack it or anything, I'm like, honey, let's go do it. It's okay. We'll sell the condo. It's going to be fine. But it was just kind of like, she's been just acting like she has nothing to him. Well, to
And
all
now-
of us, I pay for her phone and stuff. And then it's like, Mom, no, they're going to take it all.
Yeah, that could have gone into
Anyway.
the people
Right.
helping you. Oh, that's
Yeah.
ouch.
But I was telling Mickey, we've always had a torturous relationship for many, many years. And so this has been very good. Except my brother, I came up with this last year. I told Mickey I got the website 1-800-bitch line, so you could call and just bitch about somebody. Just scream about them and then to a stranger and then hang up. I've never acted on it,
Right,
but I did it again with my brother, my fucking brother that won't come help do anything.
right, right. So just to let you know, Marge and I, this year, when I found this out, that now all of you can hold us
We can all
accountable,
do it.
is that we have to get that up and running. Because the world has never needed.
The world needs a
1-800
place to
bitch
scream
line.
at.
The world needs a place to scream. That's your tagline.
What's the tagline? What's the tagline?
The world needs a place to scream.
Yes. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you for that very long, I think I know everybody here, right? Keely,
Well, we
I
will-
don't know you. Sorry.
We'll let her do her introduction. Why
Hi.
don't you do your real introduction? Hi,
I'm
Marge.
Marge
How
Weir.
are you?
I make these shades, Easy Light Reps. I'm a realtor. I'm trying to segue out of real estate and do this, but so far the real estate is a great job. When you've been in it a while, right, Sandy? I mean, the longer you're in, the harder to get out. It's really a fun job and fulfilling. So I have a listing coming this weekend. And then, so I do it, I'm trying to do inventions. That's really where my sweet spot is. And that's what
Part
I'm
of the
always working
Inventors
toward.
Guild there. You've got lots of things here. So
Yeah.
definitely, right, put your contact information in the chat box, everybody. Because, you know, you'll want it just in case. Okay, Sandy Cleland, I'm going to go on to you. Do your introduction and tell us what's new.
I'm Sandy Cleland. I am a real estate agent, as Marge mentioned, with Remax Results. I live in Southwest Minneapolis. I love working with buyers and sellers. I think it's going to be another good year, despite all of the, complaining on the news and the bad press and everything. A shortage of homes for sale is going to continue to be a problem. So this weekend, I got a new listing on the market. Super cute, fully staged, and we had about 21 showings and had 4 offers, and the homeowners are so excited, and they said, your advice, the stager's advice, and the home staging, this is all what made it happen, and this is why we got so much money. So what's new with me? Nothing. I'm just working along, just always trying to think of ways to meet new people, ways to show appreciation to my clients. And that's it. Just having fun. Going to Mickey classes.
Going to Mickey classes, she went to the How Journal class. That was great. So, and I think the thing that I want to really put out there on your behalf is really, we need to brainstorm on ways. So Sandy's had so much expansion. We've got to find a way for her to meet new customers. So really kind of tap into your ideas. She needs every single one of them because we've had 5 years of rapid growth. Year after year, she has been better and better and better. And now we've got to have to kind of, that's the natural time in her business plan to go, yeah, I need some new stuff. So, definitely throw it into the chat box. If you have something immediately, you can just chime it out. Anybody have a fresh idea for Sandy?
You mean meet new people for new customers?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You need to follow. I never follow up well with people. Like, I
Just
don't
follow
stay
up,
in
right?
touch with people. I'm terrible about the one and done because I'm onto the new thing, and my God, I'm having people come to me that are now, the son's daughter. I mean, because we're old enough to have these sons and daughters buying.
Yeah.
And I think if you had an email list going, it's horrible. I don't want to do it, but.
Oh, I don't have Sandy follow up on yours. Marge. I mean, if you're not gonna.
Right.
Right, exactly. I should do, if I ever
And
had
then
this solar
split.
your way, I would do referrals to you.
Oh my gosh. And then split it.
Exactly. The thing is, it's hard to do a referral when the people in my office, because I'm National Realty Guild, we pay a lower commission thing outside. And so if I hand somebody off, if they don't live in my area, it's easier for me to do it. But you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just easier to do it than to handhold somebody, you know what I mean? But yeah, I totally would trust to have you do stuff. I don't get, it's funny how many realtors you don't even know in the Twin Cities. You'd think by now you've been doing it, what, 20 some years, and I'm 15. It's
Right.
It's funny, we don't know everybody.
That we don't know all the agents? Oh, yeah,
Yes.
it's like almost an infinite number of real
Yes,
estate agents.
exactly.
Every time I have a transaction, many times I don't know the agent. I've never heard of them before. Lots of
But
agents.
I would talk to you outside of this about a couple ideas that
Yeah.
come to me.
Good.
That I'm like, that I think work, but I'm not doing because I'm not trying to create that business. Just
Right.
trying to get my dang shades sold.
Right. Right. I like it. So that's one great way. Janet, you got another piece of advice for Sandy?
Oh, Kathy, you can go.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just want to praise Sandy because I think she has a niche. She has her people, she has her area, she has her zone. Like she knows what she does.
Zone.
And her newsletter was weekly, and her assistant helped her. And it's fabulous. There's always information. I'm not buying or selling a house, but I read it every week.
I'm
And,
really proud of you for the weekly too. Can I
But then you keep
can I
her in
just
mind.
piggyback on her?
You
Piggy-
keep
I'm
her in
gonna piggyback.
mind all the time. It's like top of mind when you have that newsletter,
Right.
then you know who to refer.
Yeah. So Janet, I'm with you on that. I'm going to piggyback on your, keep going.
And then the other thing is that, so sometimes you pick realtors who are kind of known in the community. So they're known at a school, or they sort of have a presence. And I think you're beyond needing that, Sandy, because you have this big base. But I think what Mickey's saying is people buy and sell a house, and then you need a new person to buy and sell a house, because it's not like house cleaning where someone comes every month or something. Yeah.
Right,
But-
right.
But I
Right.
think Mickey's just saying she wants you to keep going bonanza.
Mhm.
But I just want to say, I think you're doing everything awesomely.
I piggyback on I love the newsletters. I do read them all the time, and I'm not buying or selling, but it's fun to look for people that I know that are maybe buying or selling and be like, oh my goodness, I saw this really cute house. And then I was wondering, do you go to, and I'm sure you do because it's just fun, to the home shows, like the toast, there's a toast and tour to women in construction. There's one of the new home shows are coming, but I feel like there's people there that obviously are looking at houses that maybe are buying or selling.
Right. I don't go to those. I would like to, like have a table at some of these different events, if they'll let me have a table there to meet people, like have a drawing, have something to give away, talk to people. That's really up my alley. I like doing that kind of stuff. So like last year, I had a table at the Armitage
Yeah.
Summer Festival, and I had 2 gift baskets, and people signed up, and some people stopped by, to talk about stuff. And, typically, you'll get people to sign up, and you won't get any clients out of something like that. I mean, it's not a huge event, but coincidentally, one of the people that won the gift basket, she is going to list her house with me this year.
Yay.
See that it takes a while to get those, but I
Right.
have a condo, right? I got to tell you really quick. I feel like I'm really monopolizing. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you are so
But I have a
chatty
con-
today. Did you miss that?
I have a condo. This guy called me, and I was really exhausted Friday night. I've been doing this dang assisted living thing. And Friday night I had a phone call. So it was a week ago Friday, from jeweler in New York, which is how I saved his number. And he was talking in an accent, and because I had written that, I knew it was a real estate thing. It kind of just jogged my memory. And he was looking at a condo in Minneapolis, and then looking at one in St. Paul, and was going to move here. And I said, oh, that's right. Your son moved here. Oh, this is the best story. I think I told you about it, Mickey. Did I tell you
Yes,
about
that's
this?
our
I wrote
friend.
it in Facebook. So anyway, he said, well, there's this one in the Commodore. And I said, I sold in the Commodore before. And then we talked about this place and that place. And I said, well, I sold that unit before, so I know all about it. So, and it has a fireplace. And he said, you know, he's interested. He doesn't really want to move here. His son wants him here. Here's his son's number. I said, let me take your son and we'll go look. So I text his son. His son's in Afton. He tells me his son's in Afton. I'm like, I used to have a restaurant in Afton. I used to live in Afton and downtown. Anyway, so his son, I go to text him. And here I had a text from him in 2017 for an Airbnb I had in Lakeland back before they moved to Afton. So it was like this, oh my God, I have too many jobs thing.
I have too many connections, right?
It was really weird. So anyway, his son and I, his daughter-in-law and son came and the son lives in Afton on a creek. I said Valley Creek, and they're building. And I said, and it was right next to Elena Shaw.
Right.
Mickey and I talked about Elena Shaw in the morning. And then that night I had a call and I'm like, that's a friend of mine I haven't seen for a long time. Her husband, Nathan, he knows Nathan, blah, blah, blah. So, and they're living downtown in Martin, in Squire House Gardens upstairs. And that was a block from where I used to live. So I told her the secret route to the river, you know, but it was like, this is a 4-year-old connection. And I took that phone call and I have an offer in now. Which is just crazy because how long some of those long tail, right? Real estate can be a really long tail thing. Because I had a video from 4 years ago. So I had sent him an email that said, maybe God, because he's like, I'm hemming and hawing about buying this. And I'm like, maybe God told you to. And I sent him a link with the video. And the only reason I had a video is because I had an out-of-state client. So I took a video of that place. I don't always do that. So anyway.
Marge, the good news is this is all being recorded. So you can watch the All Roads Lead to Marge story later.
It was a
We can all
crazy
have all roads lead to Marge. Okay, let's
crazy.
go on.
Thank you.
Kayleen, welcome to the madness. We do an introduction. It's usually supposed to only be 3 minutes, but Marge needed a little more today.
20 minutes. 20 minutes.
I'll give my time to Marge.
But I yield my time. Well, Janet, we forgot to even finish yours. Okay, Kayleen, we're coming back to you. What a laugh house we are today. Okay, Janet, finish your introduction.
Oh, I was just praising on Sandy.
Oh yeah, Sandy's awesome.
Like you're saying you're going gangbusters and we need to keep you going gangbusters. And I was like, let's talk about how well she's doing. And
Right, we were talking about Sandy.
yeah, Mickey
Oh,
and I live near, you know, Mickey and I, we all live
course,
near
Sandy.
Sandy. So we know Sandy's like right in her, she has her
Right.
people, she has her houses. She's just like doing it right.
doing it. So
But
Kathy,
she needs a
we're
key.
actually-
I understand Mickey stretches us. Like you have to look down the road. You have to look. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just doing the Sandy, loving on Sandy.
So let's finish Kathy's loving on Sandy,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
right. I love your idea of Kathy around those shows. Can you give her a little bit more about what that could look like?
Well, her and I can go together to go look at new houses and stalk people for our own selfish interests. It will be really fun. And then afterwards we'll have cocktails or lunch. I actually need to spend more time. I need to invest some time during daylight hours to go look at some of these new houses and kind of critique them. And it's always fun to have somebody to like banter back and forth.
Yeah.
And Sandy would probably be the perfect person because we look at houses very similarly as far as like, what are other people looking for, not necessarily what's my style. There's a whole bunch coming up, and I seriously think Sandy would, if you were like, hey, I've got 2 hours this afternoon, let's go look at 3 houses. We can swing by and pick you up, or we can meet at a house and kind of go through a few places. And sometimes just meeting a builder who knows somebody who's looking to sell or who's been looking to buy, or builders seem to know like a ridiculous amount of weird people.
And weird people is all of our specialty.
That's our
That's our jam.
Specialty.
Yeah.
It's our jam. Okay, Kayleen, I'm gonna go up to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Give us your 3-minute intro and anything else you want.
Great. Hi, I'm Kayleen. My husband and I run 2 grocery stores in rural Minnesota. We do it a little different. We are only open 3 days a week to the public. And then we have a membership option where if you choose to purchase a membership, you can have 24/7 access to the store. So you can come in and shop, grab what you need whenever you need it. Because our small town, their grocery store closed up in 2017. And we were just hearing a lot about, we wish we had a store. We really miss having grocery available to us. And we live kind of out in the middle of nowhere a little bit. And so Alex had this idea of, hey, let's open a grocery store in Evansville. And I laughed at him and I said, you're crazy. And he said, well, we got to do it a little differently. And so we did a lot of research and just dove right in. So we will be open 2 years in Evansville, end of May this year. And then last August, we brought on a second store. We weren't looking to bring on another store at that time, but someone had reached out to us and said, these people are looking to sell, otherwise they're going to close. So the second store is about a 20-minute drive away, rural Minnesota as well. And we're getting that kind of up and going, and we're working on doing all the things we need to do to get that in shape to offer in that 24-hour membership option. So was that 3 minutes? Am I under?
You're doing great. You're doing great. But the group is good. I can see all of them get closer to their screen. Did you see how-
yeah. This is
See, that's a
awesome.
proper introduction.
That they want to say something. So Donna, I feel like I'm reading your face that says you want.
Well, grocery stores are near and dear to my heart because I worked at the Wedge Natural Foods Co-op for 12 years. And so that was one of my favorite jobs. I just love grocery stores and grocery store parking lots. And what's the town? What is the town of the other one? There's Evansville and
Yep, Hoffman. Yep, so Evansville is a population of around 600. Hoffman has a population around 750.
Mm-hmm.
So both smaller.
I grew up in a town of 1,000. So I mean, I know what you're talking about, and what you guys are angels in your community. I mean, this is really, and you see that on the line, disrupting the,
Right.
that is so outside the box to do a membership in a rural community. And yet what a great idea. Just fabulous. How do people hear about you? I mean, do you have an online presence? Or is it really?
Go ahead and put that new website up.
Put the
It's still
link
under
in the-
construction, but I think it went live. No,
It went live. I checked on it yesterday. Hold on.
Okay, good. We finally put a
screen.
website up. And,
Nice.
but yeah, most of our stuff we do is on Facebook. So
Okay.
a lot of posting on that. Yeah. And then it's been crazy over the last 2 years. We've had interviews just fall into our laps spaced out throughout different timings. And so that has really helped get the word out too. We haven't sought out these interviews. People will just come right up to us and say, hey, can we come on over and interview? So we've interviewed with, what was it? WCCO came out, Carol Levin, I think it was, came out.
Nice.
Minnesota Public Radio interviewed us. NPR picked it up then about a few months later and redid that. And the most recent one is we had a group from a German broadcasting company come on out and do a little documentary on us.
Nice.
So,
So when the 24-hour thing happens, do you just they're the only ones in the store and you just trust them to bring, it's a self-checkout?
So to get in, there's a key fob option, like getting into a gym, or an app on your phone. And that will unlock the door. You just go into your shopping, and then we have a self-checkout kiosk,
Nice.
which we just got a new point of sale up and going this last week, which has been a godsend.
I bet.
The original one we had was terrible. It was a nightmare, but it got us through and got us open. So we just switched. Now both stores are on the same system.
Wow.
So that was a big hurdle that we've finally accomplished. And yeah, it's pretty seamless. You just go in, you scan your stuff, and then you pay with your card, and you're out the door.
I just
Wonderful.
love that. Cause Afton
Yeah.
was a co-op and you'd have to wait for the one old lady to go check you out and it took like 10 minutes. It wasn't worth it, you know, and it was a small town thing.
Yep.
And it's such a great idea. I love that.
Right.
Is it a
Any-
source of community connection too?
Yep.
Right.
Oh,
When people come
totally. It's been
shopping?
so fun. Yep, it's been so fun because you'll hear people, you know, especially we opened up kind of towards the tail end of COVID stuff. And people go, I haven't seen you in forever. What's new? And so there's all these little conversations popping up here and there and connections made. And
What are the
Yeah.
days that you're open?
so we are open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 5, and then Saturdays from 9 to 4. And we just picked a few days during the week, you know, and we were going to trial it and see, you know, if we need to make adjustments, we will. But the community really seemed to like those hours and that time, and so we just kept them. And I get to bring my kids to work with me, so I don't have to worry about finding childcare.
Nice.
And they're learning a whole bunch of life skills at it too. So,
Love it.
yeah.
Well, and Donna, to answer your question more fully, the store is open 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
love
I
that.
mean, it's
Yep, it's available.
24/7.
Mhm.
That's such a great thing. That part of it.
So.
Oh my
if-
gosh. And I'm imagining that membership could be paid in 1 or 2 trips to another, you know, to the big town, nearby. Like
Yes.
you've
Well,
you've
she
saved
also has a
like the money
partial
you would.
mem-
Unbelievable.
You'll
What a
love this.
great
She-
idea.
She has a partial membership for people who are just there in the summer.
Mm.
So when we were, you know, we had the full year, and then we thought, well, we're opening. Some people are on the fence about it. Let's offer a 6-month option and a 3-month option.
Nice.
So when we opened, it was the beginning of summer, and we didn't realize, like, we're surrounded by lakes. Cabin people are coming up from the cities. This is working out perfect. And so a lot of our
Oh my
3-month
God.
memberships are for, you know, for the lake people, the cabin people. And then the snowbirds tend to gravitate towards the 6-month membership option because
Right.
that works out well for their time. And
What?
yeah, so it's
What is the area code that you live in? What is it? 312?
218.
the area 320.
320. Okay, so my brother,
Yep.
he is a radio man, but he's venturing into a website. And so he has this website called 320 Fun. And it's like everything that's fun in 320. And and he also has another website called
Oh, put it in the chat box, definitely.
I've never even thought of it, but he would be one of those people knocking on your door for a little, tell me more. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
figure out.
yeah.
I'll put it in the chat.
All right, Kayleen, any last words? Is there anything else you want to know from that group? Because they're excited that you're here.
Oh gosh, I don't know if you have any grocery advice because we have no background in grocery. So
You know-
any suggestions are
Yeah.
we'll take them.
There's a restaurant food show. I'll connect with you outside of this sometime, but because of the fitwear thing, I've been to the restaurant show and the there is a national grocery show in Chicago, but they always have one up in Duluth too, I think. I'm not sure if that one is anymore. But just to, get feelers out for there's so many small businesses that are trying to get their little food placed that might be a great fit with I mean, I don't know how much monkeying around it is, but it seems like something you could franchise too. It just would be
That word's been
so
rolling around a little
smart
bit. Yep.
because you've got it all figured out. People are so reluctant to
Yes.
jump into business when it's totally unknown, but I can see
Oh, and
that
you
working
say-
so many
You say point of
places.
sale and people run like, oh my
Well,
gosh, if you
They have
figured
those
out.
ones in because I went to Europe and they had the ones where you cannot get past the barrier till you pay for your things. But it was kind of like that. It was where the barrier lets you out when everything's been scanned, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do. I don't know how, you just
Well, you guys
trust
can go
people up
visit.
there.
Yep.
Right,
It's
Nikki?
a little bit different culture up here, and yeah. And I think
It
that's
is.
why
I
it works
mean-
so well with the small town, because everybody knows everybody. They've been without a store for so long that They're
That
just excited
they
to finally have
appreciate
something
you.
back in town.
Yeah.
Yep.
The thing that comes to
Wonderful.
my mind right away is kind of how Sandy knows her people for real estate. Is you knowing what your people buy by collecting the data, collecting the data of what people buy. And if you ever want to come to a field trip down in Minneapolis, we have like 15 grocery stores that we live in. Mickey lives by one that only has the fancy food. So like anything that you ever, like your one thing you get as a treat, the whole store is full of that.
my
What is
goodness.
that? What store
There's
is that?
Kowalski's. There's
Oh,
no
I love
like
Kowalski's.
thrift macaroni. It's all like the goodies. I don't usually go there. Anyway,
Yes, I love that family. Interesting thing on the Kowalskis is that they one of the things that I greatly appreciate is how much work and effort they really put into community during George Floyd. I mean, they really, really, I just don't have enough good things to say about their corporate culture and what they brought into the community in jobs, in food, in lots of things. I mean, I am forever indebted to they have a corporate social justice conversation that no other grocery store in the country has, and they've really thought about it. So I am forever in their debt. Forever in their debt. Okay, Kathy Korgard, give us your what's new.
Not much. Busy working, having a lot of fun, trying new ways to meet new people and new contractors and just kind of expand my community. One of my personal goals for this year is to have a greater sense of community and to have more people to interact with, whether that's for a glass of wine or a lunch or, phone calls, whatever the case may be. I have a couple projects finishing, and I have been very busy doing more Instagramming and Facebook social marketing things, which is not my forte. It's super awkward. But the last time I had a job photo shoot at one of my projects, the photographer said that I need to start making my projects a little bit more about me. Because people want to buy from pretty, but a lot of people can make pretty. The thing we'll tip them will be the me, and then I'll attract people that's a good fit, and then it's a win for everybody. Well, that's my thing.
Pretty. It's such a good
And
fit.
what's your
You are
ask?
pretty.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
It's so cute.
I can't stay for the whole meeting today either. I have to go shovel before I go to an 11:30 meeting.
Well, we'll get you in class. Sandy has a question.
Can I share? So Kathy, I'm wondering if your contractor that was talking to you about what you should, is he sharing your post? Is he making a post about you or for you? And
Oh, it
putting
was
that out?
the photographer that said that.
The photographer that said that?
Yeah, most of the contractors that I work with are, with the exception of Stonehearth, don't do any social stuff. They're very like, I'm gonna go home and drink beer and work on my tractor.
Got it. Okay.
And I don't mean that like that sounds so bad, but like they're very like, I'm just doing my thing and I want nothing else after this. And I'm kind of disgusted that the homeowner hired you. Oh, but wait, you make my life easy. I kind of like it, but I can't tell anybody.
Got it. Well, maybe the homeowner then.
Yeah.
The
Right.
And I'm
homeowner.
trying to get them to share more. And so I was actually at one of my tile places this week, and I was helping some clients. They left, and I was putting the samples away. And one of the people that worked at the tile place was talking to this guy, and he's like, "Oh, well, this girl here, she can probably help you more than I do. She knows way more about color." And so I just went over and introduced myself and didn't say like that I was from somewhere else. And by the time I spent probably half hour with this guy, maybe even 40 minutes, and said, thanks. It was really fun hanging out with you. If you would be so kind and post a review that you just like randomly ran into me and I gave you some fun tips and tricks, that would be really amazing. And he said he would. I haven't checked, but
Okay.
do you work with new home buyers or mostly new construction?
I work with mostly remodels. I had two, in fact, it was my very first two new build projects this year. And the first one gets occupancy on the 8th. So I'm really excited. In fact, I'm hoping to pop out there later today and get some pictures and do a couple little videos. So mostly remodels, but seeing what the builders are doing in new houses, and sometimes reminding myself of how absolutely crappy the finishes are. So snobby.
Okay, so I'm watching your Facebook, and it is going well. And kudos to you on the photographs. I mean, I really am watching you up your game in from just 1 year ago. I mean, what is changing for you on that social media front in Kathy's head?
So it's just really easy lately to be at places and do these quick reels. Because what happens is I collect all these photos, I take all these pictures, and then I don't have time to write something about them or do something about them. And writing doesn't come very easy. So it's a lot of drafts and changes, and then I'm, look at it and like, oh crap, I missed a word or I misspelled something. So doing the audio is a little bit easier for me. I think somebody may have mentioned that to me once, that I don't know if she's that direction on your screen, but Mickey told me a long time ago that I should do blogs, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, just saying. How long did that take you to get to the same conclusion?
It's only
48
probably
to
been
60 months?
like 7 years. How
Okay,
many months is that?
I was giving you half the time, so there you go. So,
Yeah,
so
no.
it's working. So it's
We
working.
were, yeah, I think it's working and it's fun. The challenge is that sometimes I'm doing it when the homeowner's there, and then it feels a little abusive to me.
What do you mean?
Well, that off of the back of their project, I'm in their house doing these videos, trying to grow my business and gain followers off of their intimacy. That feels a little dirty to me.
Well, I would just ask them in advance. So,
Always, but it still feels kind of creepy. I think most people like it. They're excited that like their house is on Instagram with me, but it feels icky.
well, we should probably unwind that. I'm not going to unwind it right this second, but we should unwind that. Can I just let the group respond to that real quick with one sentence before we go into class? Sandy, you've got it.
Your clients want you to be successful, and they're happy that you're using their house to promote yourself.
Trust your instincts, and if there's something funny, then unwind with Mickey.
And ask them in advance about the before and after effect, because that's probably one thing that you'd like to show. But I mean, I just had clients, the listing I have this weekend, I said, I wish to God I had taken before pictures, because they did so much work clearing their space over the last 4 months. Like unreal how much work they did that didn't seem like they were going to do. But, and you don't have the before, and they wish they would too. So you might want to just ask, they might, as long as their name's not mentioned or something, they might be okay with, can I show a little of this?
Well, and it is technically in my contract that, and it's one of the things that when I talk to them about the contract, when we're having that conversation, it's basically, I said, the contract is basically, you be nice to me, I'll be nice to you. If we don't play well together, we can part ways, no hurt feelings. It also gives me the ability to take photos of your house and use them for marketing, before, after, and during the project. So I'm really trying to make sure that I'm having those conversations, because I never want to catch anybody off guard and make them feel uncomfortable.
Right. Well, they were so happy I think they would have been happy with before photos, because they're so pleased with how their house looks now that I had Virtuans come take the pro photos. They were thrilled. So, I think, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's awesome. In fact, I have quite a few before and after photos on House right now.
Okay, good. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one, House.
House is a great fit for you as well. Yeah. And Sandy, I want to make sure you did see that there is an item in the chat for you on some advice as well. So definitely check out the chat. And then Kayleen, there's one in there for you as well from Donna. So definitely check out the chat box while we're moving through. Okay, well, we got
They'll also get the
Karen
chat.
Carson. Give us your update and then we'll go right to class.
Update. Well, Michael's kind of in the middle of a medication change, so I have to sit with him so he doesn't fall asleep in his breakfast or something. But other than that, it's going well.
Going well,
you
lots
know.
is happening.
Yeah, lots is happening. So I just finished a book for somebody, and it was interesting because it first started out I was going to edit it, and then things dragged on, and the person that we were going to have do the book design got a full-time job and couldn't do it, so I had to learn how to do book design. So that was a lot of fun, but the book turned out really nice. Where's yours?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. Okay. Well, any words of advice for us, Karen, before we jump into class?
Whatever that is, Kathy, get over it. You're wonderful. And I know I can tell you from past experience that Mickey had this same problem a long time ago.
Oh, for sure.
Where she didn't want people to know that she wanted to be the business. Well, she is the business, and you are the business. You all are the business. And people want to know you. The business goes like, okay, if Mickey's doing a class on crap, would you come anyway? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's Mickey, right? Well, that's the same way with you, Kathy and Sandy, and all of you, Janet. I mean, people like you. And so that's one of the rich things that you have for your business is you. You are the business, and you are the best natural resource you have. So I don't know how to help you get over it, but you just should.
Thank you,
Well-
Karen. What sweet things to say.
Yeah, that makes me feel good too, but I just honor that if Kathy has a icky feeling to like go in there because I trust her instincts in her gut. So there might be, some that she may be able to tweak that, but I trust and honor that if she's feeling something, there's something she's going to tweak and improve. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
I like it.
usually there are things that are personal to you that have happened in the past and are
But yeah.
hard to get over that fear, that you're putting yourself out there so big.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fear-based there, not just icky, but just fear-based. What if they don't like me?
It probably goes back to Mickey's class on self-sabotage.
Oh, okay.
It could. I have a slide today that I'll call out for you. That is that piece where I think it'll kind of cement it forward for you, because there is this weird line around, right? Is it me or is it the business, right? What is that piece? And I want to piggyback on both what Sandy and Karen said, which is your clients want you to do well. And it is a privilege to be on the ride with you, and Kayleen, I'm going to tell you to keep hearing that too, because you have a very unique ride, right? And it is fun to watch. And March has already known this. Donna, you're also learning it as well. But right, when you have somebody that does something that's totally different, or that made you really happy, you really want them to be happy in a world that's not around you, right? That you just want it to work out well, like you knew it when, oh gosh, I've hired that person. Oh yeah, I've worked with them. So it is to say, I'm glad you've identified it, because it's the right identifier, and now it's time to question it.
I
Not
may
interrogate it.
misunderstand it.
Yeah,
But some of our jobs are really private. Like if someone's a masseuse or we live in house construction zone. And so then if it's in the contract, we all get to tromp through the person's house, when it's done. And so they have to have us see their lives. Or when someone's putting a house up for sale with the realtors, they're showing their house before it's glam. And there's some vulnerability there. So I just feel like our people really trust us. So, and I don't know if that's what Kathy meant. I think maybe it sounds to me from everybody and from Kathy that she meant herself, but I thought she meant being in the person's house and filming when they're there. But
Yeah, no, I
anyway,
think there's quite a bit of that, Jenna, that like there's this desire for me to want to give the utmost respect and consideration to my clients because they are sharing so much of themselves with me that I want to make sure that I'm courteous and kind about what I'm sharing, what part of their story I'm sharing, because it's not always mine to share.
Sure, sure. And that is grace. Right? That's
And I
grace.
I wanted to say to Kayleen that Amazon tried this concept years ago. They tried to do the fresh food thing. It failed miserably because they didn't keep the food fresh. They didn't do all these things, but they had that 24/7 thing, and it did not work because they didn't do what you did, which is to pay attention to who's around you. And they figured if they just had it there and put some food there, be fine. But it didn't work that way.
Right.
Yeah,
That
we've
was-
noticed a lot of this. There's been huge relationship building. You know, we have 2 small kids and our extended family has just grown because the community has accepted us in, and we've created so many strong relationships just from being there and making a point to get to know people and to talk with them. And I think that is being reflected in our business as well. You know, we're starting to see that more and more.
You know,
But yes, I agree.
Karen Howell was thrilled that you opened a grocery store.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and just for those of you who remember the Evansville Art Center, and the other things that we've done there, this store is right next to the Evansville Art Center. So, that's, so you can see both of them, at the same time, because we've had some artists from in here, there. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Today we are going to be talking about a topic that is perfect, exactly what we're talking about today, which is positive showcasing. Kathy, this is going to be your jam, and I think you'll get some ideas around what's there. So we also see this for you, Kayleen, that we've seen her business is growing because she's posting, she's letting people know what's going on in the store. So there's a little something in here for everybody. As I was filling this out, I was thinking about all of you in what we're talking about today. So positive showcasing, I'll also talk about what is negative showcasing, but positive showcasing, right, is also how can we be talking about our business, talking about what we're doing, but not always just selling. It's not always a selling offer piece. So the other thing I did, Janet Mills, this is for you specifically, but I used my travel images. So you get to see some Mickey pictures today. So those are my gift to Janet Mills. But who always, you know, who sometimes has to fix my things. So anyway, one is when you look at positive showcasing, it is you're looking to showcase, you're not looking to sell. That's the first change. And we're going to really see an enormous amount of change coming. Instagram is already seeing it. I just got some new stats on Instagram specifically around what is the deal, right? And we're seeing a lot of fatigue in social media. TikTok has brought a really large amount of fatigue because it's just constantly moving, constantly. And we've also seen TikTok expand. So when we're looking at what you're there, remember, I would go back to the real basics. So we're going to talk about brand identity, and what that means in a selling environment. One of the pieces of advice that I remind people about is work on your brand identity, trust it, use one word to guide, right? We saw Donna perk up when she heard her word clarity, right? So when things give her clarity, she knows she's going to be on the right track. So think about your brand identity. And if your brand identity is community, then that's the one you're always going to think about when you're showcasing. You've heard this word from me a lot, blessed to be a blessing. but business is a blessing and you are there to show the best side of that blessing. So when you are thinking about your work, I would really think about this from that point of favor, influence, right? Interest, leadership, opportunity, protection, mastery, right? Choices, leverage, blessed to be a blessing. And you're going to show those blessings. And then that's what you're going to be showcasing. And sometimes that's a blessing for someone else. So there's another way to look at it as opposed to going, here, look inside my little ball, right? The other thing that I want to remind people about what my hope your takeaways are today is that good fortune takes effort and you're going to come by it very, very honestly. So remember that people are happy to watch you have good fortune because you came by it honestly. Nobody has any problem with that. They actually gives them hope that because you're an honest person and that you can have good fortune, it means that belief system still works for them. So believe it or not, you doing well and people being able to see that effort that you've come by honestly actually makes their belief system function. So when we look at positive showcasing, it's the reason that I fight for it so much is because it makes the belief system of happy to know you, happy to do business with you, happy to watch you expand, really work with the other belief systems that people are carrying. And then systems and messages with clarity, there's Donna's word, make sales faster. If we're really clear in how to buy, how to check out, how to get the message that I'm looking for, it just makes sales go faster. And in this role of business, I would just remind yourself, this is your big journey and you get to have it. So when we start to look at the images, Kathy's been down this a lot with me, and so has Marge on, and well, many of you have on this idea of, right, what is it that you're there to show? And with Kathy specifically, right, these are objects that inspire. And so when we look at that social media, what you're looking to do in showcasing is to really come from that prosperity perspective of what is something that I can post or share with someone that feels like it's a piece of inspiration or that it is a piece of information. So we'll go over a couple of those things today. But again, that's the base of it, right? We are looking to have our well, right? We are well within and we are the well within. So when we look at the well within, that is where your sacred point of view starts. And that is where your magic is. It's the way you move in the world and the way that you see the beauty and the light in the world in your path, right? So that is, for those of you and everyone here is doing or interpreting or weighing heavily in on how they're doing their social media. What is happening right now is that we are now seeing a fatigue in all of social media, and it's coming back to this much softer side where there are reels are good, but they're going back to photographs. The photographs have changed drastically. Americans post more photographs than any other country by a large margin. If you are someone who has more than 2,000 photos on your phone, you are above the norm, right? So someone like me who has 70,000, right? That's not the norm for everybody. The average person has about 2,000 phone pictures on their phone. And people who are using their phone, they are using that. So know that photographs are a big deal. You will need them to build other things. And a lot more images that you're seeing on social media are done on a phone. I do want to highlight what is negative showcasing. We see negative showcasing a lot. It doesn't apply to most of the businesses that I'm working on, but it is, the purpose of negative showcasing is to bring caution into a selling environment. And there are lots of things that you've seen that are very fear-based. That is an example, that is an actual methodology, is negative showcasing. And negative showcasing is there to really put in, right, a heightened awareness goal. You should be afraid. You should pay attention. You have to do this. And so sometimes we are using negative showcasing to go, don't do this, right? If you've all looked at all those reels of about, don't do it this way, do it this way. Don't do it this way, do it this way. That is always, that's around negative showcasing. And a lot of times, there is a place for negative showcasing. It's just not one that, in today's topic, really builds intimacy. It's just not the right answer. The other kind of just quick, like, don't do thing. We don't have a lot of people that are just starting up, but your friends are not your customers. But I always remind people, take the oath, keep your friends as friends. And can your business partners become your friends? Absolutely. Yes, they do. But the intimacy level of that relationship is very different. So, right, someone who you did business with and is your friend doesn't have the expectation level that's exactly identical to somebody who's your friend and they're doing business with you, and can you give them special treatment?
Vicky, I have a question.
Yeah.
On the negative showcasing, so something that I've always thought about doing, and I just haven't gotten that far yet, is showcasing some of the plumbing, for plumbing products,
yes.
and how it's worth spending extra for a higher quality. When you talk about negative showcasing, that definitely feels like it falls into that category. Is that still is that something you would still avoid? Is that something that still kind of maybe puts people off instead of turns them on?
Well, negative showcasing in that exact instance is, right, to be able to say, you need to use caution when you're making this purchase, right? You need to slow down a buying process.
Okay.
And that is when negative showcasing is you're saying you have to slow down this buying process, or this process in general. And that is for plumbing specifically, for all those fixtures that you have or self-ordering stuff. Negative showcasing is going to really work well for you.
Okay, just wanted to double check. Thank you.
And when you are thinking about negative showcasing for your personality type and your brand, everything beautiful is that I would go back through and do the everything beautiful model of everything beautiful needs to also be functional, right? To kind of give them a reason why.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah. So tie it up in a bow. Even if it's negative showcasing, you're still going to tie it up in a bow. Okay. I'm going to go back to screen share. And yes, if you have a question, everybody just jump in, because that's how it rolls here. If you raise your hand button, I don't ever see it. So the rules for engagement of intimacy in social media, in general, they have rules, right? Customer relationships have rules, and personal relationships are much more complex. They're deeper, they're broader, and you really work hard for healthy boundaries. So one of the things that I remind people about is that you have to make sure that you get to keep you and the business gets to keep it. So that's why I talk about a brand identity, because it also pens you in if you don't have the business as its own identity versus just you. So, right, if we are looking at Nido Tree, right, it's not just Donna, it's the things that Donna creates. So even on a personal brand, they're not buying you as an individual. What they're doing is they're with you on what you're building and selling because you created it for them. So that's the biggest change, right? Is to go, we're building things for them. And we heard from the real estate perspective and from Kathy's perspective today, of, right, that you're going to look at things not for your own tastes, you're building them for someone else. And that's what all of us are creating, right? Is we're building things and products for someone else. So there is this very fine line, is that you love the creator, but what they're creating is actually for you, not to have a relationship with them as an individual. The other thing is that there's a layer of protection around business as a relationship that is really easy to understand, so that it's fiscally expansive. Oh, that business does this. And when we look at making sure customers are customers and friends are friends, is that it also kind of makes your day go shorter, because your customers will just wait till tomorrow. Friends will just will text you anyway. They'll just text you anyway. So brand identity, that's really the piece. If you have not finished your brand identity, if you're not sure of your brand identity, we have some previous classes on it, but this is the part of that business that the customer believes that belongs to them. And when we are talking about intimacy in positive showcasing, it is showcasing the part of the brand identity that belongs to the customer. So that's a little wonky. So that's why I'm going to show you a bunch of ideas around it. But positive showcasing is around that creating healthy sales intimacy with your customers and around the whole relationship. So positive showcasing, again, is this wraparound structure of intimacy with what you're showcasing as the brand identity. So there's trust and mutual appreciation, that you will fix whatever's there. This is a great screen to just take a picture of, because this one will come up for you as a measuring tool a lot. And I put it up in there twice. The way that we're seeing it presented is the second to the last one that I wrote in there, the glasses company. When we look at a local glasses company, one of the ways that they've took this positive showcasing on and this greater level of intimacy is that they started really telling all the love stories around these people who have these fun, eclectic glasses and why they pick them and so forth. So it's a way to say, hey, here's the intimate story of these customers and why they chose to really have statement eyeglasses and what they like about them and how it changes how they feel. It's just an interesting perspective. So it's showcasing also to have an understanding of another. In the glasses company, it's surprising how many people have a very intimate relationship with something that's on their face every day, and what that means to them. This is another one I would screenshot with your phone. It is really what we're looking for out of positive showcasing, and why you're building that intimacy level is that you're looking for that brand purchase stability. And that brand purchase stability has to have these two components. It has to have the brand promise in place and delivering, but it also has to have the customer's view of the relationship in line. And then when we put those two things together, we have someone that always buys from there, right? That the business itself knows what it's doing, it's really delivering, and the intimate relationship with the customer and that brand, that everybody understands their relationship. It is kind of magic. When Karen had said, look, if Mickey puts up a class, why, are you going to go anywhere? Well, it's also because, right, that you know what to expect out of that brand, right? That it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. There are going to be great slides. It's going to be well thought out, that there's real information there for you. And that's that stability. That's that stability. So this is another screenshot, right? It's just there, but the very end piece of that, what are the rules for doing that? The rules here are the very bottom one, the very last sentence in this slide. Customers buy to receive, to repair, or to rekindle something. So are they receiving a product? Are they getting a repair on something that's been bothering them? Or are they initiating a relationship that they once had? So if you've ever bought a coat that you put it on and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so great in this coat, right? That you just love this coat. It has rekindled something with you. If you go back to the grocery store conversation about Kowalski's, right? This lovely little thing, this magic little thing, right? You're rekindling something. They are receiving it. But again, when you look for things that you're selling that are very special, it's usually actually about rekindling. When we look at intimacy versus love relationships were really built by Saatchi and Saatchi. If you remember, Pampers is the example that we've given on that. Pampers used to sell all their diapers with an unhappy baby face. Saatchi and Saatchi came in and said, hey, let's show a happy baby. And that is what changed everything for Procter and Gamble and some of these other companies, is they took on the Saatchi and Saatchi method, which is to sell with love. Intimacy is what is here now. And that is not just a love relationship, it is a love relationship that customers believe that they have something a little bit more. For those of you who are just looking to grow your numbers on social media, this is why I always tell people, clean up your data so that you can talk to an audience that's listening. When I get new customers that have really a lot of social media presence, and we start to look at the data, we find that 60 to 80% of the people that are in the audience are kind of dead wood, that they're lurking, they're not really paying attention, they're not even in your feed, and it doesn't do you a lot of good to just try to keep selling to them anyway, because that's not their role. Their role was to go, oh, well, here's a place of stability and appreciation, but not necessarily participation. If you have products that are consistent and persistent and need to have a lot of turn, you really have to make sure that that social media audience is not just dead wood, right? It's not just there. And deadwood is not a bad thing. It is that it offers something different. And that's why I chose this image of this seemingly dead tree, but what it is doing is it's holding all the dirt in on its root system, is holding in all the dirt so it doesn't fall right off of the edge. There is a stability component to having a large presence, but the way that you're relating to that presence, you have to take into account. Going into what are you growing, right? This is why I say it's succulent, it's extraordinary. You want something that you want to think about your selling and showcasing is really going, this is delicious. It is taking a better image than taking a crummy image. It is telling someone why something is delicious or why you love it. It's sharing something that is perhaps little known, right? I was at a friend's house and they were recycling some jars, and we had 3 generations of people, and we were talking about that. And I said, hey, how are we going to get this really sticky label off of this jar? And everyone except the oldest person went right to their phones to Google search it. And the oldest person goes, oh, we need the vegetable oil. I'll have that off in a jiff, right? That part of me going, oh, wow, you just had that in your main knowledge. There are many things that are just in your main wheelhouse of knowledge that are kind of these random tips, the random things that you know. I'll use Donna, who knows everything about fabric and how to make it drape because she loves fabric. And right, that you have all of these things. So think about these delicious facts that that are very interesting to another. So when you're thinking about your social media in general and this intimacy level and positive showcasing, we're really going to think about that. Again, loving Dominion, we used that term as well before, but you're there to have a specific goal on vision and voice, not just like a batch of ideas. So that's why you have to have a marketing plan. That's why you start to really think about how is the brand communicating for this bigger, longer relationship. And this is another screen I would just screenshot, right? That you are blessed to be a blessing. And you have the ability to invite others to bless you back, to be able to give you tribute, to be able to give you recognition, to be able to share resources with you. Staying open. Blessed to be a blessing is about giving and receiving. This is the big part of how does positive showcasing stand the test of time? How does it stay vibrant and delicious? Is that it has that give and take. So your words, your images, your smiles, all of these things give meaning and message to the journey and the journey that we're all on together. So we're having a buying exchange, all of us. When we're thinking about how to talk about that in how would we showcase that, a lot of times I would talk about it as something that's revealed. Is there something that's a little bit magic in the store for you? Sometimes it's just going, hey, did you know my favorite thing is this? Maybe there's something that you learned. If it looks like something revealed is your thing, again, just snap a picture of it. And these are recorded, right? All of these classes are recorded, as we talked about with Marge having this wonderful day today. But for those of you who are watching this in replay, you can always just put it into the comment section, right? What is the thing that's revealed to you? And when you think about the notes that you're taking even today in class, is I would look at just this slide and go, okay, what are the things that have been revealed to me that are a surprise? What's the magic in what I'm doing? We hear it from me a lot on the topic of Kathy, which is we have a lot of conversations around faucets. We have a lot of conversations around tile. That there are many things around remodeling in general that she and I had a lot of surprises around, a lot of plumbing surprises. And so when we look at talking about those things that are revealed, I think it's critical. And I would just start kind of writing a list. The other thing that I would look at as a way to have a conversation in showcasing is to invite a perspective that we don't normally see. And so I would think about that related to your brand identity. What is the perspective? The perspective for those shades and that shade company is that in 5 to 15 minutes, you can have a makeover in that bathroom for very little money. And that these bathroom lighting fixtures are in every apartment building across the United States by the tens of thousands. And they're all outdated and they all make everyone look terrible in the main mirror that they're looking at their face in, right? Like, why would you invest in all of these items? Well, because it gets old to look into a set of lighting that makes your face look terrible every single time. So, right, invite a perspective.
Well, and hurts your eyes. It
And
just
hurts your
eyes.
Yes, those lights are terrible. So it's showing that perspective of you deserve more. One of the things that, and it's asking questions so that we can lead that in to the conversation, right? Not only do they hurt your eyes, but you look terrible and you're not. So the next opportunity you have in showcasing is what I call the shower of connection. And that shower of connection is, again, it's cyclical, right? What goes in comes back out. What goes in comes back out. But it's really showcasing the things that benefit everybody. So that shower of connection, how can everyone connect with us a little bit better? And that would be FAQs, right? What are the frequently asked questions, updates, and talking about them, right? Asking your customers how you can be better, adding office hours or, right, opportunities that benefit everyone equally. And that is the shower of connection, because you will see it come back instantly. The fastest way to have, to showcase intimacy in that relationship, that you are paying attention to your customers' questions and that other customers can be a part of that, is what an FAQ is. A frequently asked question. And a great FAQ list will reap you rewards in a lot of ways. One of the FAQs that we put in is, right, how to do a special order, right? What if I want to buy this in bulk? And suddenly that will change what people, oh, I didn't know I could buy in bulk. Oh, okay. I only need 10 to, I only need to have 10 or 12 to order in bulk. Oh, I'm definitely going to order 12 and then take my risk on it and get the discount. So it is, for that brand, sometimes easier for me to sell, to have, just from the financial standpoint, it's easier to have 12 go out the door at 30% less and have that cash flow come through, and only have one order, than it is to manage the 12 individual orders and 12 individual sets of shipping, right? That now I only have one set of shipping. So FAQs, I would be very creative on that. So if I were talking about FAQs on the coloring books, it is to show bulk, right? The benefits of bulk. Because that would be right where you want to go. You want 100 of those coloring books going out at a time. Another thing that in positive showcasing and building intimacy is to really talk about growth, right? Prosperity, right? When you look at what does it mean, right? Prosperity is the ability to expand. It is things that are expanding. So interesting growth is expanding. So you may want to talk about how the market itself, the makers, partnerships, how are things growing in an interesting way? I'm not selling you that necessarily, but I'm showcasing that. And I'm showcasing that because we have a mutual relationship of intimacy. And that intimacy is that I'm sharing with you, that I think that you're genuinely as interested in this as I am. This is a give and take relationship that we have in our connection of showcasing. So the question that I have, the piece that I put in here for you today, for all of you specifically, is these two numbers that I updated this week, which is 1.3 billion photos are uploaded, billion. 1.3 billion photos are uploaded on Instagram daily. So sometimes just saying, thanks for looking at mine, right? Here's an interesting thing. Thank you for looking at mine. And what is also interesting, which has changed the world dramatically, is that it's a hair under 7%, but it's about 7%. Only 7% of those images are taken with a real camera. The rest of them are taken with a smartphone. So when you're looking at who's putting images up, what do they look like? We are seeing those come right off your phone. So having that bigger professional image done is still being, a lot of people are doing them with smartphones. But again, we're seeing photographers hold their own in this market, that photographers that are still working with interchangeable lens cameras, they're getting so sliced into a really unique niche that they're actually only becoming stronger. That can photographs, because there's so many, there's 1.3 billion that are being uploaded already. But out of that 1.3, out of that 93%, only 7% are this specialty niche. And so they are becoming more masterful, a more defined voice with the massive growth. They're not becoming washed out. They're actually becoming solidified. So it's very interesting. They are becoming the diamond of their field. Growth inside of a journey is another way to positive showcase that, you know, there may be things that have changed within you on that journey. It may be the fun of it. This picture is actually about, I had a dog named Boomer. And one of the things that I made a decision was that I knew that he was aging and he was a little bit of a chicken. And I wanted him to have his final years really out there in the world. So I made a goal to like go, let's explore something new that you haven't seen so that your time here on earth is there. So I would take this dog with me all sorts of places, even just for a little bit, like let's go check out a parking lot or something. And what happens is that I got to have this huge piece of growth because I wanted to show my dog something new. And it really allowed me to see a lot more forests and different things. And I mean, I took that dog everywhere. But so sometimes that is just showing some growth inside of a journey. You may be trying out things for your business. You may be doing an art class. You may be just doing some sketches. You may be going to new places. There's growth inside of the journey. That's the journey of the brand. It's the journey of you. This is also a time that when you talk about growth in a journey, if you've had a business that's been a long time, right? So like Marge has had a long period of time doing business. So is Sandy. You've had a long journey. So sometimes seeing those images from 10, 15, 20 years ago is really fun. It really builds intimacy. It feels like we're sharing part of your journey for my benefit, right? So it's not just to go, oh, we were so crazy then, right? It's to really push it into positive showcasing. Is you're showcasing that growth or that interest so that the customer receives something or they rekindle something about their own path, about their own relationship, not just what you did back then. It's to gain another vantage point. When we look at clusters of perspective, this is a grapevine from Italy that I was sitting under. And it was the first time that I realized that, like, wow, people really have trellises of grapes here. This is amazing. Welcome to Italy, right? So sometimes you will get many small ideas that kind of feel like they're connected, maybe not connected, right? But it's to take some of these small ideas and see if you can cluster them into a larger bundle of thought. So you may end up having a conversation around something that seemingly unrelated, but when you tie it together, it is actually a big cluster of something. And so the easiest way to do that is to explain it as packaging, right? If you've ever gone to a store here in town called Aldi, if you have been in any lane in any store in Target or major houses, they are all having conversations around packaging and the emissions of that daily. So one of the things that we're seeing is the packaging of like major trucks of stuff that have packaging. We actually see them bundling up that cardboard and sending it back to the manufacturer. We've never seen that before. So we're seeing that in lots of different industries where they're having these small conversations that don't seem really together, but if we pull them together, it's to say, how can we as a group change these emissions? We saw this a lot in all of the people who dressed windows, that for these major companies is that they were doing these huge window displays and all of it was disposable, that they were just throwing it into the environment. And that industry just said, look, we've got to rethink these window displays. These are pop-ups. They're not here for very long. And we've got to really talk about how much plastic and garbage we're throwing away. So we see that a lot. So it's cluster of a perspective. So when we look at, right, why you bloom in certain ways, it is a prosperity message. And you've heard it from me before, right? it's hard to be a lemon branch. It's hard to pretend that you're a lemon tree when you're really a cherry blossom, right? So don't have to be, you don't have to pretend that you're something that you're not, but you have to really explain from that positive showcasing, that intimacy of why you bloom in the ways that you do. Why are you choosing the images that you're choosing? Why are you doing it this way? That positive showcasing is, right, that you're building an environment, right? Prosperity business plan is the 3 E's: environment, efficiency, and economy. So talking about those things consistently is what's there. So you just have to focus in on your brand identity, and why you bloom the way you do. And that will work out a lot easier. The other thing, so this is my last 2 slides here, is that some of you have gone through these huge things around metamorphic change, that you've made big changes in the way you see things, big things that you see in the way that you viewed lots of things, as I would kind of start talking about metamorphic change. So when we start talking about all of these different ways that we can talk about showcasing, the showcasing will lead back to sales. And we can talk about how to do that and how to position that when we break in as a group again. But metamorphic change, this is something that is worth a conversation at least quarterly. So as I go back to some of these ideas, I'm going to go backwards in the slideshow and just go, look, how many times can you talk about why we're blooming that way we're doing, right? Why are we building this environment the way that we're doing it? This is absolutely something that you could have done once a month as a posting. You don't have to build intimacy every hour, but you want to build it consistently. When we look at clusters of perspective, this is another one that can come in either quarterly or once a month. When we talk about the growth inside your journey, right? This can be quarterly or it can be once a month. These are not daily posts that you're building intimacy. You're just adding them in as a positive showcase so that you're not always going, hey, aisle 4 on sale, $3.99, right? We're building a relationship that's interesting to know you. You are interesting. Your brand and what you're doing is interesting. And that it fills into the bigger piece. And going back to the shower of connection, it's building equally. It's that opportunity that benefits everyone equally, right? To talk about those things. On a shower of connection, you could have done that as a weekly post to say, hey, we've got this new thing in, or just so you know, we've made it easier for you this way. Hey, there's this appointment open. We started doing this with the spine specialist, and the spine specialist has massage therapists. So they have massage people that are open for just 15 minutes. So we started to just, if there was an opening, we would just call anyone that had a time around that time to go, hey, there's a 15-minute opening. Do you want it? Or if they had a 1-hour opening, we would just send it out to everyone. Hey, Thursday, there's an opening. Does anyone want it? So it's that shower of connection, right? That's something that you could have easily done every week. When we look at a posting around inviting perspective, if it's funny and quirky, humor, that's available every week. Sometimes people have things that they're putting out that are just silly, or there might be a perspective of how to use an ingredient differently. Those depends on how you're going to do that. So sometimes perspective is just how to do something different. It's a lot of things. So this one you'll have to fidget with a little bit. Something revealed, right? A surprise. This is easily once a month that is there. So when you're thinking about what you're growing, right? You want to take the ideas that we gave you and remember your perspective, remember the brand conversation. The brand conversation is, right, what's the brand promise and how do you deliver it? And then the customer's view of that relationship. And this is where we get into this complex relationship. It's not just a post, it's that we're building a stability in this relationship. And in that loving, healthy, guided conversation. And that's why all of the marketing plans that we're building right now are a lot different. They're a lot different for when, especially if somebody has a customer base under 5,000 people, that it has to be a lot more intimate than it used to be. So, and you want to think about that really a lot. So going back to kind of the rules, right? The takeaway. Oh, I had two more to show you. Hold on. I've got two more for you. Right. Sometimes refinement. I want to talk about refinement real quick, which is how, when you're starting to think about this, I think for Kathy's model, this is about refinement. But when you start to think about refinement, is that how a process had many phases and how it's different in the way that it is delivered today. I love this in a process that is somebody that's been doing something over time. For those of you who maybe have models that are membership models, those take a lot, and it doesn't matter what kind of membership it is. That you can also meet up around goals. If you're selling a product like personal training, things like that, there's a lot of health goals that are around. It's really, you're going to meet up around the goals being met. So how are your goals being met? In this case, right, these are two snails that I met at sunrise. It had just rained, so they're just slinking along. So I just made a joke about those, right? That, you know, the outcome for the day is two snails meeting at sunrise. The other thing you can positive showcase is a whole in a view. So this is similar to negative showcasing, but it's just the positive way to do it, which is to go, hey, there's a hole in the way that most people look at this. And this is how we talk about these other interesting ways and buying options of why we do it that way. So it's the spin on negative showcasing is to just say, hey, there's a hole in most people's view of this, and to showcase what is the hole. And I mean that hole as in a dug up, put your foot in there, not whole as in the entire entity. The other thing I would talk about in showcasing, especially if you have a membership model, in any kind of membership model that you have, you have to discuss the speed of goals, and that not everything is done in one transaction. This is especially true for someone who's maybe doing coaching, or that you're selling a large grouping of things, is to really help people understand the speed. The time is the commitment that they have, and being a partner in the time is a really critical part of the identity. So somebody that finishes on time is a big deal. It is one of the things that lets you know a good speaker versus a untrained speaker, right? Not a good speaker, but a trained speaker versus an untrained speaker, which is that you can throw them anything while they're live and on stage, and they will expand their conversation or shut it down based on anything that anybody gives them. So it's an interesting piece, right? It's where all the training comes in. So when you have a lot of information on what you're selling and doing, really think about that, right? What is it? How long does it take? When we talk about real estate right now, there's a lot of conversations that Sandy brought up around the goals that may be impeded, right? There's a lot fewer on the market. There's a lot fewer homes on the market. That means this, right? She's discussing the speed of the goal, and the goal is to be housed in a new house. A pairing I would also look at that as showcasing tool. What are the things that we can talk about that are perhaps unlikely combinations? And when I think about unlikely combinations, I would think about things that make you go, what? I really want that kind of George Jetson, rut-row, rest-row kind of thing, right? That pairings that will expand the ideas that I hadn't considered. I actually had sent Kayleen a recipe for fried rice the other day that was bacon and egg fried rice, that I'm like, this is different, right? Here's a pairing we hadn't thought of, right? That there are other ways to look at product. So it's giving people ideas that they can kind of put together as a combination. An example of that would have been, right, how coloring suddenly became such a very different conversation in the world, right? And you look at all of the coloring books that are out here right now, it's amazing. And then another piece is to show a story of the scale of something. This is where I love prosperity in general, is because think about how much all of you have grown. This is the story of scale, right? That all of you are better in all of the areas of business. All of you are prospering, right? There's a story of scale there. And for some of the things that you are talking about in your businesses, that's another way to show a story of scale. This is how it started out. This is the tiny thing. Okay, the takeaways. This is one I would also just take a picture of. I've only expanded what we've talked about, right? What are the takeaways? They're buying what you create for them, right? That there's a layer of protection around business that makes it okay to expand. If I've bought from you once, I'll buy from you again. What's the best time to sell somebody something? Right when they're buying the thing they're buying right now. So if I see you checking out with peanut butter, hey, have you seen the new jelly, right? That feels expansive. So buying from a business has a layer of protection around it for people. So it's easier to play with you. And that it is also really fun. It's fun to do business with you. So remember, you are showcasing, you're not just selling. You're going to have to trust your brand identity. Again, this is one to take a screenshot of. And that your good fortune, we are happy, we are thrilled, we are honored, we are ecstatic to see you do well because you came around it honestly. And that piece in a prosperity mindset also makes an individual believe their own beliefs differently. It helps them say, yes, the world is good. Yes, there are good people doing good things. And yes, this is, we want more of that. So think about what you're growing and think about it again as being that extraordinary. You know, there's so much. You're not a roadside attraction here. You're not something that's just tossed out intermittently. You're actually a thinking, thriving business that wants to have a relationship in their community. And that's the joy. Okay, I gave you one last picture, right, which is this was from back in the summer theme from years ago, the Night of New Beginnings, right? You can also just take everything you learned today, you could throw it away and just go, wow, how about if you just invite us to a party? Because that's a really fun way to positive showcase, is come on over, come down to the store, come to an event. Let's have a color-a-thon. Let's do, you know, let's be at this Armitage for, you know, I'll put a table out. You can win a door prize, right? Invite us to party with you. And that is easy to do, right? Easy to do. We love hanging out with you. Okay, I'm going to pull us back. Okay, what is your takeaway? Now I know that Kathy Korgard's got to go shovel, so I'm going to come to you first, Kathy. Oh, maybe she's shoveling right now. Okay.
Oh,
Kayleen,
not shoveling, just slow to get my fingers to the right.
you're writing.
Okay. Yeah,
This
no,
is my
sorry.
new mushroom drink, by the way. I'm so in love with this stuff.
Alive. I drink mushroom coffee. What's that?
You know what? It is like, I posted it because it's so good. It got me off of pop. I'm off all caffeine now for 2 months. First time in 40 years.
And no headaches?
It one day,
Nice.
it busted out one day. Okay.
Yeah. I drink mushroom coffee because the same thing, less caffeine and less sluggish afternoons.
Yeah. So you're doing the mushroom coffee?
Yeah, 4 Sigmatic.
Yeah. You better put that in there. For
And it is
everybody.
super smooth.
Yeah.
My takeaway, and it was one of the first things you said, and then you repeated it, and it was like, that's my nugget. Because this is something that's really a big deal to me, is that because you came upon it honestly, you worked hard for it, like that I don't want anybody to ever think that like things just fell into my lap or that I'm sneaky and deceitful. Like, it's important to me that people know that I'm working really hard for them, and that I'm being honest and fair, and I'm sometimes taking a hit on the prices because things went wrong, and I want to make sure that I'm valuing the time and energy that you spent, like all the things. So that was big, and it clicked a lot of boxes.
Yeah. And that part, the second part of that, I also want you to take with you, right? Which is, by you doing it that way, it settles all of the other things within them. Right? There's a reason that you want people to showcase, because it allows people to believe in their own belief systems.
Right. And I love that too. Like, because then the world is good, and there's more, the people innately are good, and there's a few sucky people, and we spend way too much time talking about the crappy ones instead of the awesome ones.
Right. Right. And so it is to say that it is good that we know good people. Right? It is good to know that we know good people. And that makes you feel safe in the world. And it just is magic. Okay, that's a great takeaway.
I'll say that's my takeaway too, Kathy Korgard. that's just be like, to celebrate that just beautiful, simplistic honesty. And we don't associate that with success in business ever. So thank you, Mickey. That's just a great, like, oh, you're giving us permission to be ourselves. And the cherry blossom, oh, so beautiful. And I just want to say, I want to talk about tiles and faucets, Kathy Korgard. So put me on your list of, oh, we should go, and I don't even know what you were talking about doing, but I've got your phone number. Let's connect.
Yeah,
That's good. I would love that. It would be fun.
Yeah. Yes. So can I, again, this is my part that I didn't know until Kathy and I got to hang out together so much, because Kathy and I had to do lots of things together. But it is to say that just because something looks like something on the outside and you think, oh, this is exactly the same thing. It's over here at this price and it's over here at this price. The difference is, on a faucet, is the stuff inside is not the same. And so the outside of the faucet looks identical, but the stuff that actually makes that faucet work, garbage.
Yeah.
But
Plastic.
nobody knows that, because we don't talk about plumbing nearly enough.
Well, I do my own plumbing, and I know what's on the inside of those crap faucets, and I agree.
Yes,
Bad.
yes. And you know what a story to tell, right? What a way to kind of take that negative showcasing and, pull it forward.
How do we amplify that message into the world though? Because I feel like if Don and I needed that and we kind of like went, what?
Yeah.
Like, how do we amplify that into the world? Because I think that now when I look at other people, like you may have seen her on Channel 4 News. Her name is Yasna Barzna. I don't remember how to spell it. I've networked with her before, and she's somebody else who's become very successful in the last 4 years. And she has a huge heart, and she's all about like uplifting people. And she has this giant house, and she's gorgeous, and she wears these great clothes. And so if you looked at her from the outside, from a business point of view, you would think that everything's been handed to her, or that she's, snotty or snobby, or thinks she's better than everybody. She actually grew up in a refugee camp. Like, she has this amazing story. And I want to see that in more people, so that I'm always looking for the best in people. not assuming that their life was any less of a struggle than anybody else's.
Yes.
How do we
Yes.
amplify that?
And that's positive showcasing, right? Is to really talk about our journey, talk about how that is, but talk about it in a way that is a benefit to someone else. Right? That's also why you like class, because we get to see the times that it's crummy. You know, you've gotten to grow so much of yourselves with each other. Yeah. Yeah. I think almost what I hear out of that, Kathy Korgard, is an invitation to build that class, is what I hear.
I'm so in on that class. Yeah, like let's show the whole world how amazing everybody is, and like let's just all be happy.
Right.
And have
But
fun.
that was an invitation to go, Mickey. I felt a little gauntlet thrown right there.
Game on, let's go. You do it, girl.
Right.
If anybody
Right.
can, it's you.
All right, Donna, do you have any other takeaway? What's your other takeaway?
Well, I put it in the chat that I'm going to check out faire.com, FAIRE.com. I guess it's an emporium for wholesale, a wholesale emporium for gift shops. I guess it's supposed to be like this dirty secret that all unique gift shops are really just getting their stuff from faire.com.
Oh,
And I'm like, I
wow.
don't see that as a dirty secret at all. I feel like it's like the Etsy of wholesale, is what I heard it on the radio. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm
take
going
that
to
picture.
I'm going to check it out and see about my coloring book. That's all I've ever wanted. That's all I've ever wanted for Soccer Birds is wholesale, because you look at the number of soccer fans on the planet, the World's Women's Cup coming up this summer. I'm like, okay, yeah, game
Yep.
on, a little
Game
bit.
on.
So, but also accountability. Let's talk about it. Ask me how that went in our next NW2 meeting.
Okay, we're putting it out for everyone. That's the accountability piece that she wants, right? Is to focus on that coloring book specifically, right? And that's Soccer Birds product and getting it in bulk. I love it. I love it. I love it. Janet Mills, what's your takeaway?
I love Sell with Love. And I feel like everything that you gave us, it was like going on vacation for your talk. I also loved hearing the beginning. I learned a lot from all of your businesses and how you do things, but it was like a vacation. And then all of a sudden, as our time is ending, I think, oh no, I have 2 super busy months. And all of the weight starts to come back, and I'm like, no, temper that weight with all the happy things that you told us, because you can travel happily just as easily as travel stressed out.
Yeah.
And matching, my mother-in-law went to a care center yesterday at the same time, but luckily my sister-in-law did all the work.
Oh.
So I think I came in February saying January I emotionally was gone. I was just with that family, and then I was able to put it in a separate compartment, so it was all emotionally in me, and I was able to do what make a compartment for that so that I can thrive. So
Yeah.
and I also upgraded all my software and hardware.
Yeah.
So those are the things from last time that I,
That
and then I
you got
need to
done.
be.
And do you need an accountability item for this month? Wow. Wow. You're so
Yes,
good.
so
Good deal.
my accountability is I have to use I'm looking at new softwares, but a tracking system, because I'll just forget stuff. It'll be like on my mind 24/7, and then all of a sudden it'll just kind of go poof. So I can't have that happen having a business.
Tracking is a big deal. Tracking is a big deal. Okay, Kayleen, I'm going to go up to you in the corner. What's your takeaway today? Welcome to class.
Yes.
There, I'm doing this on an iPad and I'm not used to doing that. No, I'm just so thankful to be here and to learn from all of you and to hear where you're at and your different businesses. I think my takeaway from, well, there's a few different ones. The main one that really stood out to me though was showcasing your growth inside of the journey. I feel like right now where we're at, it's just full steam ahead, go, 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 1,000,002 different things happening where, like I said, we're coming up 2 years from actually being in business, and we need to start planning out how to say, hey, look at where you've gone on this journey with us. Let's
Yeah.
do some flashbacks. Let's see this growth happening. And so, yeah, to take the time out to plan that out, to pick out the different points in history, if you will, to just say, look at where we've grown, and acknowledging too, like we couldn't do any of this stuff unless we had this wonderful community support. Because that's really what it is. If the community wasn't behind us, we wouldn't be continuing on like we are. So yes, definitely showing the growth inside of the journey, and then also highlighting that this journey isn't done. It's still continuing and evolving, and you know, looking also forward to the future and what that could mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also are, I think another piece to that is that you started, I would go back to your original amount of SKUs. A SKU is like the barcode of the product, by the way. So how many SKUs you had in the first store? Because yesterday I found out that you have 3,000 SKUs now between 2 stores.
Yep.
And so managing 3,000 items every single week in an order is a big deal. But I would be fascinated to find out how many SKUs were in that first opening of the store when you didn't have all of your, you know, you're like, and we're going to save this shelf for something special, this empty shelf, right? So, you know, it'll be fun to kind of go through that. Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Good. Karen Karsten, what's your takeaway?
I'm unmuting myself. Well, everybody has a fabulous journey. I think it's amazing. And I have always felt that doing things with love is where it's at. And to show people, that's what you want for your clients. My clients is always that they have choice there, and that they're helping them to be happy. And I think that's where it's at. All of the other things are amazing. And I'm always glad to be here with all you positive people. It makes me feel better, because sometimes it's not a good week, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay. Sandy Cleland, what's your takeaway? We had a lot in here for you today.
Definitely. So, well, there is a lot to unpack, but as Donna would say, I think I got that from Donna, a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack.
Okay, so some of the things, I think, well, the growth inside of a journey, which a lot of people mentioned, I really like that. And I think about like all my different headshots I've had over the years and different outfits I wore, like my favorite pink suit that I used to wear like on my first appointment. Like that would be on my first appointment with a seller.
Oh,
So
wow.
I always know what I wore that first day, because you don't want to wear the same thing when you come back. And anyway, so I like that, find some old photos, and then also adding some FAQs to my website. I think that's a great idea. I have never done FAQs, and that would be a good thing for me to do and to just have on the website and send to people when they want. Let's see. And one of the first things you said is there is fatigue in social media, so we're moving to a softer side. I really liked that. So one of the things, there's a gal in my office, and she's so good at social media. I mean, she's really good. And she used to be my client, and she was like my best advocate in the neighborhood. And then she became an agent, and she's with my company. And she's an awesome person. And she's such a good, I mean, she's better at social media than anybody. But I don't look at all of her posts because it's too much. It's just too much. I mean, and it's not all about real estate. She does a lot of other stuff too, but like she does a lot of TikTok and everything. So I love that we're moving to a softer side, because it made me feel a little bit better about not being so, you know, I a lot, but I tried my first reel this weekend. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, I'm just going to try a reel and put it out there and, you know, do my best. So I liked that a lot. It makes me like being slower is better. Just putting out something meaningful that people can connect to. And are you showing happy thoughts? You know, like anything, like when other people post pictures of flowers or their Hawaii vacation and all of the greenery, or when they post pictures of their cats snuggling. I love that stuff. So I can post that stuff too. I mean, I got a gorgeous cat.
Oh, you have a gorgeous cat. Yes.
And people are always like, oh, I love seeing pictures of your cat. So
Yeah.
just anything that makes people feel uplifted. But I really like the journey part and how people can relate and say that there's hope when this person started from here and they feel like, oh, you're so successful. You've been doing this for so many years. And it's like, well, yeah, everybody can put in the time and do the thing. So I really liked that part. So I had a lot of takeaways.
Well, and this may be the invitation for Bruce to cough up some of those pictures that he's got hiding on his camera of all those great photos.
Very true. Very
You know,
true.
we've never needed them, and he does lots of things to his pictures. So we
Yes.
may have to enlist him on some of these categories,
Thank you.
because he has pictures of everything you've done.
He has a lot of pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, but he has a lot of happy pictures,
Yes.
and he has a lot of happy pictures on every step of your journey.
Maybe. I don't know.
We'll
see.
see.
I don't know
We'll
what
see.
he's got in there.
Right. Neither does he.
Yeah. Exactly.
Neither does he. Okay, well, I'll tell you my greatest takeaway. One is, thank you for being here. It's always great to see everybody's face, and thank you for being here for each other. I mean, that is my favorite thing about this class, about whoever is here. It's drop-in, so sometimes it's this person, sometimes it's that person, but it's always just a lovely time. So thank you so much for making the time.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, and Nikki, your glasses are stunning.
My new ones,
They are stunning.
aren't they fun? Well, thank you.
I'm sure they're fabulous in person, but they really translate in the Zoom meeting.
Do they?
So, oh my, yes,
Oh, good. Oh, good. I have
I love the
personal-
content in the photos.
yes.
You love yes. So just so
I'm gonna watch it again, though.
do you watch them again? I'm surprised at how people
I'm
go back
going
and watch
to,
them.
this one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, to see my glasses.
Yeah.
No, to see the photos and the content and your glasses
Yes.
and your
yes,
pretty
well,
face.
Sometimes, during the How Journal, there were a lot of people there that hadn't experienced a Mickey slideshow. That they didn't know that you could actually have a slideshow that you liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you go, oh, that's it. Ooh, I love that picture, or whatever. Yeah.
It's nice to meet Kayleen.
Yes.
Oh,
Kate,
I'm so
go ahead.
glad to meet all of you. Definitely.
All right. Well, be well. Have a wonderful day, everyone. I do appreciate you. And I'll see you around.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
You too. Bye, everybody. Okay, we can stop recording.
Stop recording. Yes.
Bye, everybody.